congratulations on the movie. I watched it very, very recently, and it's still very fresh in my mind. What was it about the role that, because you also act as a producer on this, so what was it about this film in particular that made you want to be part of it?
It came into the company for us to produce before I had agreed or we had decided that I should play the role of the agent. And it was just clear that this was a story that needed to be told. And there was huge potential in the script, and it was a wonderful script about an event that I certainly knew nothing about. I mean, a few people knew little snippets of truth. They'd heard about the Berg assassination, or they'd heard about the robberies in the Pacific Northwest at this time. But on the whole, it felt like a story that needed telling. There were very obvious through lines with what's going on globally at the moment, and the rise of white supremacy and anti-Semitic movement opinions, and then it was folded into a genre film, which reminded me of some of the films I loved when I was growing up. Films like French Connection. So really, we got on board as a producing partner with to support the writer, and then as we were developing it, the character just really sort of intrigued me, and my partner kept saying, "This is a great role. We've not played anything like this," and he kept coming more and more to life. Once we had Justin Kurzel on board, the director, he had some great ideas about how to develop it, and so yeah, it just became a very enjoyable process, a collaborative process, building Husk into a sort of three-dimensional, plausible person.
Yeah. I guess he's not really based on a real person, but he's like an amalgamation of several other sort of
Yeah, there were several agents on the case, and we kind of took backstories from all of them, but we wanted to be able to embellish him with our own, to steer the story and to sort of offer him up almost as a mirror to Bob Mathews. But obviously, if you start, introducing alcoholism and a broken family, you don't want to do that to a real guy.
Yeah. Had you been a fan of Justin's work before? Because
yes.
He's really this kind of stuff is what he lives for in his filmmaking.
We read it and we developed it with Zach, the writer, and we all knew that Justin was the guy we wanted, and luckily he responded immediately. And his input as director obviously is all over this. The energy of the piece, the tone of the piece, the way he has approached the sort of the toxic nature from a human perspective. He sort of looks at why people behave the way they do, what environment it supports it, and what kind of people are following men like Bob Mathews.
Mm-hmm. As a producer, do you have a say at all on who you want to be alongside you on this adventure? Like, did you have a say on who was being cast at all?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my opinion as a producer is, once you've got a director, you really are there to support the director's vision, because that's why you choose a specific director. And Justin had a very instinctive response to who should be who, but there's always discussion. I mean, Justin had worked with Nick before. I'd admired Nick's work for years, and he was a great choice. But opinions evolve. I think the role of Carney that Jurnee Smollett plays was originally written as an older man, and we thought it was a good opportunity to actually look at the bureau a little more. Were there black women in the bureau then? And we did some investigation. Jurnee showed interest and brought an incredible perspective, and so discussions like that take place as the thing breathes and grows.
I guess it's wonderful to have the authority to introduce female characters instead of the same usual. But what was it about the era that you wanted it to base it sort of around that way? I mean, there was scope there to make it, I guess, a lot more, of today, really. Yeah. Was it important for you to keep it in the past, to keep it in the 80s?
Yeah, it was. It felt like the task at hand was to tell the story in the era it took place and be true to what had happened as far as that was possible through the lens of a storyteller. You always have to kind of, truncate time and space and characters sometimes, and that can just be because of budget restrictions or storytelling restrictions, and stories sometimes need condensing in order to become more streamlined. And it felt like, to modernize it would have maybe lost some of the impact. There's sometimes something more effective about telling a story that's relevant today from a past point of view.
Yeah. How stressful is it to sort of be part of the cast but also have your producer hat on at the same time?
I wouldn't say it's stressful. It's just a bit more workload, and you're a little bit more in the DNA of the whole film. So you're watching rushes, you're working on the weekends, making sure you're ready for the coming week. But if you believe in a piece, it's also hugely rewarding, and when you then pull it off, as I feel we have, and then it's very fulfilling.
I think, I only have one more question to ask you, and I really would not be doing my job and would get fired and murdered if I didn't ask you about the holiday at this time of the year. And how do you feel? Fired and murdered.
You better ask that question.
How does it feel to become like, part of this kind of?
I'm still astounded.
It's incredible.
I find it is really wonderful. It's truly wonderful. At the time, your concern is to make the film, and you kind of hope it's a success. And then this annual kind of revisiting and celebration of it's just started to build momentum, and I kind of forget every year, and then around this time, people start coming up saying, "Hey, the holiday season." What a lovely thing. You can't plan for it, and if it happens, it is honestly a kind of a minor miracle. I'm just really touched, to be honest, that to be a part of something that is a part of everyone's, or a lot of people's Christmas.
Well, it's a gorgeous movie, and thank you again. Congratulations on this on that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jude. Lovely.
Wow, find a murder. Hey, you guys are getting brutal these days.
I know, I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!